Hello everyone, Darren Rawlings for Emerging Civil War, and welcome to the 10th Annual Emerging Civil War Symposium. And we've come to a really important location because 10 years ago, this is where the symposium actually started, in this little basement of the Riddick House. Now, Chris, a little bit of history about the Riddick House first, please.
Sure. It is a plantation house that comes from north central North Carolina. It dates back to 1812. It was disassembled and brought here over a 2-year period by my father-in-law, Dan Spear. He put it back together, modernized it, so it's available as a bed and breakfast, but it also retains that historic charm. So if we're looking around us, you can see all these beams above us. That's all original work. You can see how it was hand-hewn, and these are just incredible timbers. They don't make trees like that anymore. There are additions to this house that have also helped add to the history of it. There's a sunroom, for instance, that has bar stools from Graceland. Elvis Presley, sweaty butt, sat on our bar stools. Thank you very much. Upstairs, we've got a desk that had belonged to Franklin Delano Roosevelt in his office in the White House. So we've got other drops of history throughout the property here, as well as our great Civil War history.
Okay, so talk about the first symposium. What was that like?
So we had actually, when I say we, Chris White and I, co-founder of Emerging Civil War, had been invited to speak at a symposium here for the 150th anniversary of Chancellorsville. And my job was to tell the story of the wounding of Stonewall Jackson in real time, which was a real thrill for me. There was a history symposium sponsored by the Friends of the Wilderness Area Battlefields and Stevenson Ridge. So we were in this room and telling the story and doing the thing. It's a great big thrill. But this is the room where I met the woman who became my wife, Jennifer, who manages the property. She and her parents own this, and she's the managing partner. And she was upstairs in the kitchen, like, gosh, that guy downstairs is awful loud. Right over here, there's behind that beam, there's a electrical outlet, and we were trying to get an extension cord. And, so my first conversation with Jennifer was, gosh, do you guys have an extra extension cord? So we after the symposium, we just hit it off and chit-chatting, and things just kind of took off from there.
There you go. So yeah, a big part of Emerging Civil War is also a big part of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So and then because that was not an ECW affiliated thing, Chris White had actually been talking about having a symposium, and he's like, that would be a great place. Let's see if we can have it there. So the following summer, we had our first annual Emerging Civil War Symposium right here in this room. We had chairs that were lined up here facing in that direction, and chairs lined up there facing that direction. You can imagine these two center posts make visibility a challenge in this room. So we couldn't really have a lot in this area because the posts were in the way, but we did have food and beverage and stuff like that. And the place was packed. We didn't know how many people would come. So I think our tickets were like $50 or $75 or something like that. Chris was just like, let's just make it really cheap and see if we can get people to show up. And we packed the place, which was a good problem to have, but it was a problem because the air conditioning in here couldn't keep up with just all the bodies in the summertime.
Oh my goodness.
So it got a bit warm in here.
Yeah, so a bit sweaty.
Yeah.
But so also I noticed earlier you did a picture, which you'll see later, for the people that have been attending for 10 years. So some of them people were down here with you?
Yes. So we've had some people that came from the first year and have come ever since. They were reading the blog. We only knew one of them in person by that point, so it's not like we got our buddies to show up. These were people who showed up and like, oh my gosh, and they've continued to come back. One of the things that's really important to me is the sense of community we have in Emerging Civil War, not just among us as colleagues, but among the folks who do keep coming back and the folks that we see at roundtables. So there's so many familiar faces, and it's really, I always describe it like old home week, because we see so many old friends who've been with us for, in some cases, as long as 10 years.
Yeah, that's nice.
We did that picture of the 10-year folks.
Yep.
And I had a couple guys from New Jersey come up and said, we'll never catch up. Can you do a picture of the 8-year guys?
I love it. Yeah. So anyway, so again, guys, this is where it all started 10 years ago. And like Chris said, we wouldn't have met Jennifer, wouldn't have had a symposium. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Of course, we can enjoy it ourselves as well now, So, but all that is left to say, and we're going to leave it for you to say, my friend.
We'll see you online in the basement of the Riddick House and on the battlefield.